My mother-in-law showed up unexpectedly, as usual, at the worst time. I was just making my point to my husband about buying a new washing machine with a dryer. We were talking about which model to get when the doorbell rang. I went to answer it. As soon as I opened the door, my mother-in-law walked in and went straight to her son, who was sitting in the kitchen looking at washing machine ads on his laptop. "What are you two up to? I heard you're thinking about buying a washing machine, is that right, dear?" Carla asked her son. I rolled my eyes behind her back and made a face, causing Ben, who saw it all, to laugh quietly. "Did I say something funny?" she asked, looking confused. "Yes, Mom, you heard right. We are thinking about getting a new washing machine," Ben said. "Why?" Carla asked, really surprised. As she pulled up a chair next to Ben and leaned over to look at his laptop, she gasped and put a hand on her chest. "How much is it? Have you lost your mind?" She raised her voice and threw her hands up. "What's wrong? We really need it," I said. The washing machine was badly needed in our house. The old one kept breaking down, showing random errors, and it could only handle small loads. With twins now, the laundry was piling up. Plus, Ben, who works at a mechanic shop, always brought home dirty work clothes, and the old machine couldn't handle it. I started to explain to my mother-in-law why we needed to buy it, but Carla cut me off. "Ben, why are you letting her have her way? She should just wash everything by hand. She's too lazy. She's gotten used to machines doing everything for her, and now she's spoiled. Maybe she should hire a nanny for the kids while she's out with her friends, or get a cook." "Why should she, a delicate lady, have to cook?" Carla said. The conversation wasn't getting anywhere. My mother-in-law wasn't listening and kept sticking to her opinions. "Back in my day, we washed clothes in the river, and it was fine. Do you have so much money that you're wasting it on that nonsense?" "No, don't even think about it. I'm not giving you a penny," she said firmly. "Mom, we didn't even think of asking you for money. We have enough to pay for this ourselves. Do you think we're asking for a handout? I work. Emily also works from home, and soon she'll be working full-time. Plus, we have savings." "I don't understand why you're reacting like this," Ben said. "Because I know what will happen next. You'll spend all your money now, and then what? You'll come to me begging for help, right?" "Well, no way. I won't lend you anything," Carla snapped. "We weren't planning to ask you," I said, trying to stay calm. I went out onto the balcony to take a deep breath. "What a stubborn woman," I muttered in frustration. I knew Carla could be difficult, but we'd never had an argument like this before. We never asked her for money, never even as a gift, let alone a loan. From the beginning of our relationship, we agreed that if we were starting a family, we decided early on that we would take care of our own expenses without relying on help from family or friends. Even the birth of our children was carefully planned. We put it off for a bit because I knew I'd be on maternity leave and unable to work for a while. We always kept track of our income and expenses, and everything was always in order, except for one surprise when the doctor found twins on the ultrasound instead of just one baby. Right now, I couldn't understand what had gotten into my mother-in-law. Sure, she did some odd things, like shaving the twins' heads when they turned one, without telling us, even though one of them was a girl, or going to church and asking the priest to give them church names because she thought the old-fashioned names were better. After so many years of marriage, I had learned to accept her behavior, but when she started interfering with our family budget and our personal business, that crossed the line. My house is always clean. I have little kids, so I'm always cleaning and making sure there's food on the table. I wake up earlier than everyone else, so when they get up, breakfast is ready. My patience is running out. If my mother-in-law wants to make this a battle, I'll show her a lesson. She'll learn not to poke around in other people's finances, even if it's her son's. I went back to the kitchen. My mother-in-law was gone. "Where's Mom?" I asked. "I sent her home. She probably got upset because I defended you. She stormed out like a bat out of hell," Ben replied. "What happened?" I wondered. "I'm not sure, but I'll talk to her when she calms down. By the way, I already ordered the washing machine. It'll be delivered in a few days," Ben said. "Good job. Thank you, love, but don't talk to Mom. Just bring a couple of your dirty work pants and shirts home," I suggested. "Why?" Ben looked confused. "I'll bring them when the washing machine arrives," he said. He looked at me and immediately understood. "Okay, what's your plan?" Ben asked. "I'm just going to teach her a small lesson. Please, don't make me seem like a monster. It's just a little lesson, no harm," I said. We both laughed and sat down to have lunch. By the next morning, I had everything ready for my plan. When my mother-in-law showed up at the door, she tripped over a big checkered bag. "Christy, can't you find a better place for your stuff?" she grumbled and stepped inside, walking around the bag. "Did you buy it?" she asked. "Buy what?" Ben looked confused. "I mean the fancy washing machine," she replied. "No, Mom, we didn't buy it. We listened to your advice," Ben said. "Good for you, don't waste money on nonsense," she said. I jumped in. "Mom, that's fine, but our old washing machine broke down, so, as a good daughter-in-law, I humbly ask for your help. You won't say no, will you?" I said, smiling. This made her blush a little, and she nodded. "Well, I'll help, but with what? I don't have money, if that's what you're asking," she said, starting to worry. "Oh no, I wasn't asking for money, but I'm embarrassed to admit, I still don't know how to wash by hand, so I need a lesson from you, Mom," I said as gently as I could. Without waiting for her to respond, I grabbed her arm, and Ben grabbed the bag by the door. We headed downstairs. "Where are we going? Aren't we going to wash in the bathroom?" she asked, confused. "No, I can't do that. The bathtub is too clean, and the kids' clothes and Ben's work clothes will mess it up so badly that I won't be able to clean it afterward. We're going to the river," I answered. "You said you knew how to wash clothes in the river, didn't you?" I asked, leading the way. "No, I didn't say that," my mother-in-law muttered, unsure, but she got into the car anyway. For the next hour or so, I tried hard not to laugh, but it was getting harder. My mother-in-law, who had been so sure washing clothes in the river was normal, had already tripped into the water twice, lost her brush, and dropped the soap. She kept muttering under her breath while trying to grab the kids' pants that were floating away, refusing to stay still. Ben even stayed in the car, laughing loudly at the whole situation. "Mom, do you need help?" I offered sweetly to my sweaty mother-in-law. That was the breaking point. Agnes jumped up, threw the pants at me, and started yelling. "Forget this laundry. I'll never do this again. Don't even think about asking me to do this. Do you understand?" she yelled as she stormed back to the car and collapsed in the back seat. "Son, take me home now," she shouted. "Mom, what about Christy? She still needs to finish the laundry. I need my work clothes by the day after tomorrow, and they'll take a whole day to dry. Can't you help her?" Ben asked, looking concerned. "I'm not going. Don't ask. And what kind of ancient practice is washing clothes in the river anyway? Just buy her the washing machine and let her do what she wants," Agnes insisted. From that day on, things were calm in the family. My mother-in-law had learned her lesson and stopped criticizing me. The washing machine arrived the day after our little lesson, and Agnes kept praising it. Now, she only visited when she was invited and only to spend time with her grandchildren. If she heard something she didn't like, she would immediately think back to the river and the pants. Then, she'd ignore it all, letting us decide what we needed for the house. She stayed quiet and didn't interfere in our business. And of course, she would help, but never with money. That was the one thing she wouldn't do.